Hi everyone, I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. This is your weekly energy and spiritual messages. This is all about what's going on in the collective energy. This is the energy that impacts each and every one of us. So essentially it's what's going on. What are you feeling here in your world, in this world? And how do we create the most ease and success using the energy that we have available to us this week? So speaking of the energy, how are you guys feeling? How are you doing? I always love to hear how you're responding to this energy. Feel free to put that in the comments below. This weekend, man, that full moon we just had, for those of you that don't know, we had a full moon in Capricorn over the weekend. That was intense. There are some energies that make me want to just crawl under a rock for a little while, and that was definitely one of them. I was feeling so uncomfortable, so skin crawly. I was feeling very revved up and anxious, and I knew what was going on with the energy, but I still had to keep coaching myself through that every step of the way. So how is that full moon for you guys? I think that it was a very transformative full moon. I think that it was an opportunity to close some things out that needed to close out. And by the way, we're still in this energy, so you're probably still feeling a bit of the intensity. And I also feel like this week ahead, really this month ahead, there continues to be a lot of intensity in the energy. It's not going to feel always the most comfortable. I don't think that right now the work that we're doing is necessarily meant to feel comfortable. I think that it's built to help us to grow. It's built to help us to expand and to move through the things that we need to be moving through. So it may not feel very comfortable. Is anybody out there feeling comfortable? Because I feel like this energy specifically is calling for us to challenge ourselves outside of our comfort zone. And I was saying last week how with that happening, there is this very human response to that of starting to move in the right direction, starting to feel and know the changes that we need to make, and then getting to that place where we are finding ourselves, if we're consciously aware of it, sabotaging ourselves. This energy is asking us to take a look at that. And that's not always an easy thing to do, right? It's easy to say, oh, well, this is happening in the energy, and so I'm not going to do that right now. That's too much. That's too overwhelming. Or it's very easy to make excuses and continue to hold ourselves back. It's very easy to let the overwhelm that we're feeling, because I think that this energy can feel incredibly overwhelming. It's very easy to let that shut you down and interfere with your progress from the things that you feel that you need to be working toward. And certainly in this energy, it's going to be a bit of a dance with this energy, where we're going to want to challenge ourselves. We're going to want to continue to work in the direction of the things that we need to be working on, while at the same time taking these pauses, taking this time to reflect and recharge and rebalance in order to allow ourselves to be okay, quite frankly. I kept having to do that dance, and I've been doing that dance all day, finding that balance between how do I keep working in the direction of the things that I know that my soul wants me to be working toward, while also taking quiet moments to recenter myself. I think we want to be really intentional in this energy to recenter ourselves. I called this reading something about what mountains are worth climbing and which mountains are not worth climbing, because that was the image that came into my mind when I was connecting with the energy. So I want you to just think about that, just these images of these mountains, because I think that this energy is incredibly bipolar. It's this we're now in Leo season, and it's this very outward, bold, fiery, passionate, exciting energy. And then we also are watching these retrogrades with the planets just stack right up. And for those of you who aren't familiar with what retrogrades do, they slow things down and they really encourage us and sometimes even force us to go inward. And so there's this inward energy and then there's this outward energy. And I think that we're moving in and out of that, and we need to be moving in and out of that. And I think that part of what we want to be looking at is, yes, I want to continue to progress. Yes, I want to continue to grow. But if that growth is represented by a mountain, which mountain is worth climbing and which mountain is not worth climbing? Because I think in this energy, as I was talking about, there's a lot of self-sabotage that's going on. There's a lot of us creating mountains where they don't need to be, or climbing mountains that we don't need to climb. Maybe we climb a mountain that's a little bit smaller than the mountain that we see ahead of us that we actually feel called to climb, because that feels easier, it feels more familiar, it feels more comfortable. It's the mountain that we know, right? But is it a mountain that you want to keep climbing? And so we want to be aware of that. Where are we putting mountains in front of ourselves? Where are we self-sabotaging? And it's going to require you to call yourself out, to take a look at that and to recognize. I've been very aware and even surprised by the ways that I continually keep trying to go back into self-sabotage energy. This, by the way, whenever we move into this energy, I always know that we're on the brink of a pretty important breakthrough. For me personally, but also I think for us collectively. I think we're on the brink of an important breakthrough. And so when we're on the brink of a breakthrough, we start to try to hold ourselves back, because I think that we unconsciously, we feel the power of that. We feel where it's going. We feel what's happening. We're watching things progress. We're watching things happen. And subconsciously, we get overwhelmed. I was talking last week about that, how the subconscious mind doesn't want for us to create change. The subconscious mind is very ritualistic. It's very much wanting to experience things in the same way and in the known way rather than in the unknown way. So I think that we're being called to climb some new mountains right now, to experience some new things. And these mountains, I mean, when you think about climbing a mountain, it's not an easy thing. I think we have work ahead of us. I think we have a journey ahead of us. But again, thinking about climbing that mountain, can we stop and just like take these moments to enjoy the journey all along the way? Can we notice the flowers that are all along the mountainside? And can we notice the view that we get from the little bit of a climb that we have already moved in the direction of? And just noticing and pausing, because this energy is going to be some steps forward and then taking that time to reflect on the journey that we've been on so far, and then more steps forward. And this is how we get to the summit of the mountain. This is how we create the things that we need to create. And so there's that back and forth. And I think this energy is really calling for us to honor both, where we're pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone and we're doing and trying different things than we have before, but also making sure that we're taking that time to go inward and to listen and to honor. I also heard creating sanctuary wherever we are. So thinking about that, because I think that in Leo season, oftentimes I find that this tends to be a little bit of a busier time, which again is very opposing to this energy of these retrogrades. And so it's like we have a lot going on and we might be really busy, whether it's in the work that we're doing or we're living it up and we're having a good time, and there's a lot of movement happening and there's a lot of things that are manifesting and developing for us that we've wanted for a long time. But also there's this need to go within, and this feeling of, oh my gosh, like I felt, honestly, I've been so busy with so many different things. I feel like I haven't had a chance to just like take a breath and connect with myself. And for me, creating sanctuary wherever you're at is taking that time to just recenter, to tune in with ourselves. And that might not look like the way it typically does, right? have a lot going on. So I might not be able to take that same amount of alone time that I typically would, or to do that in the same way that I typically would. And I think this is true for so many of us, but can we just create that sanctuary, that peace wherever we are? Maybe you're at your child's baseball game and you find a way to create a sanctuary in that, to take a few minutes to just go within, to slow your breathing down, to soothe yourself. And that's the kind of things that I mean, right? Maybe you just have a minute in your car before you go into your house. And so instead of looking at something on your phone, maybe just taking another moment and taking a few deep breaths and recentering yourself. And maybe you're using an affirmation that you like to use, or you're inserting some kind of a positive thought that you want to think. So these moments where we just try to reset, even if there's a lot going on, even if there's a lot of craziness, and these moments where we're intentionally choosing to go within and listen to that inner voice. The inner voice is going to be getting louder and louder as we move through this energy. But if you're not taking the time to hear it, it's going to be really uncomfortable. So we want to make sure that we are taking action on the things that we're feeling like we need to take action on, but also taking that time to honor what it is that we need, or to honor that voice within ourselves, which is our intuition. And this is how we know ourselves. This is how we trust ourselves. That full moon also allowed us and supported us in releasing some things from the past, and we're still here in this energy. So what do you want to let go of? What do you want to release? What do you want to surrender? And I feel like I need to say, when I was connecting with this energy, like, part of what I heard was like, you don't have to prove that you're right. What if you just choose to let it go? Because by continuing to engage in something, it's keeping you stuck. It's holding you back. And so what if instead you choose to surrender it? So that's a message for some people who are connecting with these messages. Let me know if that's you. By the way, if you guys are watching this on my YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. That always helps us support the channel. I appreciate it so much. And if you're watching it on my Facebook, please swing by and subscribe to my YouTube. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, so you don't have to be right. Sometimes it's better to just disconnect, to move forward with your life, to just let go. Because I do feel like there's a lot of this energy where we're going back in the past and we're trying to like undo history or rewrite history or make somebody understand something. And sometimes like we don't need to make people understand anything. We just can sit with and we can know our truth without needing to prove it to anybody. It's wasted energy, I feel like, in this energy. There's a lot of opportunity here to transmute old pain. There's a transformation that's happening. And I just get this sense of like us transmuting this energy, of us transforming ourselves and emerging this more powerful version of ourselves, if we are honoring these things that we know that we need to be doing. And speaking of the mountains, we have to take a look at which mountains are worth it and which mountains are not, right? So as I mentioned, that's going to be really important for us to pay attention to. So paying attention to what mountains that I'm about to climb, what things am I about to do that are going to contribute to my growth, that are going to be expansive, that maybe make me a little bit nervous, but also light me up, right? It's worth the climb. Is it worth the climb? Is it worth the effort? Is it worth the journey? And what isn't worth the journey? What is not worth your time, your energy, your focus? I think that part of where we're getting caught up in this energy is that we're focusing on things that aren't serving us, that aren't a good use of our thoughts, our energy, our words, our conversation. And there is, like I talked last week about, it's this energy of us versus us, and we're still very much in that. So you might find like your ego wants something very different from what your soul wants. So you have to pay attention. Like, does this feel like this comes from a place of fear and of stubbornness and of wanting to do things the way that I've always done them, or holding on to something that I shouldn't be holding on to anymore? Loosen your grip, let go, surrender. Your soul wants you to expand. Your soul wants you to grow. And sometimes that growth requires you to step away from a mountain that you have been climbing or you have been creating yourself. So this is going to really require you to tune in and ask yourself those questions. Where am I holding myself back? Where am I preventing myself from being the best version of myself? And where am I allowing other people to do that to me? This is a time where we're teaching people how to treat us. And sometimes teaching them how to treat us is to not allow them access to us at all. Is to not allow them access to our energy with, thinking about them or engaging in endless conversation with them. Sometimes it just has to come to a close. And I think that there's a lot of that happening here in this energy. So let's pull the tarot cards. These tarot cards, if you are new to my readings, we pull tarot cards to support the messages, to build on the messages. How are you guys doing? How are you feeling? What's going on? Let me know. These are ready. These cards are ready today. They're jumping out. Are you guys resonating? Is any of this resonating with you? I said resignating. Are we resigning? Are we letting go of something? Are we resigning from a position? Interesting that my words are kind of touching on that. Wow, this is powerful. Do you know how powerful you are this week? Because there's a lot that's happening. There's a lot that's manifesting. It's just like, I think we're overwhelmed because there's so much coming our way. Meg says energy has been spicy this week. That is a beautiful way to describe it. Spicy. It's been very spicy. Now we're in Leo season, so it's even more spicy. And I kind of like that Leo spice. Are you being stubborn at all? Too stubborn. I'm a Taurus, so I can talk all about stubbornness. I've had to catch myself digging my heels in with a few things and be like, no, we're not going to do this, because you're digging your heels in out of habit, out of stubbornness, not out of what is actually best for you. Or, it's something that your ego wants. That doesn't mean that it's something that's actually best for you. The ego, when we're looking at ego versus soul, right? Because we have both sides of it. And ego isn't always a bad thing. But when it's ego, a lot of times it's like the instant gratification. It's that itch that we're trying to scratch, or it just feels really full of fear and anxiety, and we're just trying to soothe that in some way. But a lot of times it's like that quick fix. It's not that bigger thing that is going to help serve us for the long term. Hope that makes sense. All right, let's take a look at these messages. So first one, King of Wands. Yeah, hell yeah. This is we're going for it, right? The King of Wands is deciding, what am I passionate about? What am I excited about? What do I need to be taking action on, and taking action on them? What mountains should I be climbing? And probably they're bigger mountains than I've ever climbed before, because there's so much room for expansion, for growth, for development. So following our fire, following our passion, the excitement, where we want to be going. But again, in this energy, you might be starting to move in that direction, and then you get scared and you shut it down. Watch yourself. Be mindful of yourself. Do not allow yourself to hold yourself back with these things. We want to make sure that we're honoring that and taking steps in the right direction, so that we're creating in this energy. The next card, the Three of Swords. So we might be, revisiting some heartache. There's difficult things that we're working through. I mean, that's always true, but there's a healing that's happening. And I think when I'm talking about, make sure that you make time to listen to yourself, to go inward, to recenter yourself, taking those little moments. It's also about that healing. I think there's a lot of triggers. This card for me is oftentimes about triggers. But you know what? Your triggers are your responsibility. And it's so important that we are challenging ourselves on that, taking a look at that and not going, oh, well, that person triggered me and we're putting all of that on them, right? It's like, okay, but what do I need to do with this? I'm recognizing that I'm triggered. What do I need to do about it? What do I need to do with this? Why is this showing up in my experience? What kind of an opportunity, or what is this an opportunity to heal, to grow, to move forward, right? Because everything that shows up can be an opportunity if we allow ourselves to use it. And I think in this energy, our triggers are teaching us about ourselves, and they're showing us where there's still room for growth. And then hopefully we're taking action on the ways that we need to be growing and being mindful of the ways that we're continuing to try to hold ourselves back. The Empress, because there's so much that's available to us. And in this energy, I'm getting that we're giving birth to our dreams, right? These mountains that are worth climbing, they're worth climbing because they're important to us. They're important to our life's journey. They're important because we came here to do certain things. And so those things that you're just feeling like to the depths of your soul, this is what I need to be doing. These are the actions that I need to be taking. It's important that we're taking them, and also that we're balancing that out with this Empress energy, this feminine Empress energy of knowing that also I can create, and I'm magnetizing these things to me. And part of giving birth to my dreams is in also allowing it to develop, right? So in not wasting my time and my effort on these mountains that are not worth climbing, right? So taking action where we need to take action, and resting, creating, focusing on the vision of what it is that we want to create in this energy. So there's a balance there with that. The King of Swords. Pay attention to your thoughts that are coming through. Pay attention to that, right? I think that there's a lot that we're aware of. There's a lot of ideas that are coming through. There's a lot that we're aware of. And this is like when you get an idea that feels really aligned, following through with that, right? It's a different feeling when we get, really what we're talking about is an intuitive prompt, right? When we get an intuitive prompt, there's a different feeling. Pay attention to those ideas that feel like, oh, they come out of nowhere, and it doesn't feel like it's feeding my ego. It feels like it's helping me to grow and develop and to make myself better in some way. Pay attention to that. But also, I feel like this is about conversations as well. So are there conversations that we're needing to have? Are there things that need to be covered here in this energy? And that's going to become more and more true. We're going to be moving into Mercury retrograde. So you may find more and more that there are conversations that you need to have. But I think this is a good time in this energy, if you're feeling that pull, to have those conversations, to have those, I don't know, I'm hearing meetings. Have those meetings that we need to be having for planning, for getting ourselves organized, for creating something together. I don't know. I think there's important meetings this week. I think there's important conversations this week. So that'll look different for each and every one of you, of course. And we have this World card, recognizing where some things are just done. You know, that the past is the past and it's okay. Like, I think that there's like a piece here in the choice to understand that some things are coming to a close. I also think that there will be some level of recognition here this week where we recognize, you know what? I learned that lesson and I'm not interested in repeating that lesson. I'm ready for a level up. I'm ready to let the past be the past. I'm ready to allow myself to continue to move forward. And I think that there's an acknowledgement as well of some kind of success that we have created for ourselves, or some kind of battle that we had that we won. Maybe it was a battle we had with ourselves. Because again, I think the battle is with ourselves a lot here in this energy. So maybe it's like, you know what? I battled myself and I won. The higher version of myself won. The soul version of myself won. So I think that there's that acknowledgement. I think that we should take that time to acknowledge it. I think that's important. And the Knight of Cups. This might be some kind of a heart-centered offer. Let me feel this one, because I'm feeling a little like I'm not fully feeling it. Okay. So this is like about what I was saying, like creating that sanctuary within ourselves. About taking the time to honor that. And I think that the more that we do that, and that's the Empress too, right? The more that we do that, and we're just like finding the joy in the moment and finding the peace in the moment and taking those moments to recenter ourselves, the more that we do that, the more that we are magnetizing incredible things to us. The more we are becoming magnetic to the things that we want to call into our lives. So this is really powerful. I also feel like there are some kind of offers coming in this week that are related to the heart. It might be an opening in a friendship. It might be some kind of taking a relationship to the next level. It might be deciding, having an important conversation, because we do have important conversations, having an important conversation that helps something to move to the next level. So there's a lot of levels up here in this energy. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope that this makes sense. I would love to hear what parts of these messages resonate for you, if you would like to share. And I do want to remind you guys, I'll put the link below. I have coming up the free webinar that I'm doing with Nicole Eaton on how to build a better life. So I'll make sure that I put that below in case you want to sign up for that. That's going to be happening this upcoming Monday. So the 29th, I think that is. So you're going to want to check that out, totally free. And it's going to touch on a little bit of the stuff that we're going to be covering in our retreat that we have coming up in October. That is going to be called the 48-hour vibe upgrade. And that's going to be, life-changing stuff over the course of a weekend. But you're going to get a little taste of that in the How to Build a Better Life. So make sure that you check that out as well. I'll put that link down below. All right, thank you guys so much. I love you all. I hope that you are surfing this wave of this crazy energy, and I hope that the mountains that you're climbing are the mountains that are going to pay off big time for you in your life. You'll know. You'll feel it. All right, take care. Bye.